jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Once again, the communication process is broken down.
Somebody is renting it, and it's not in my name, and it's not in anybody else's name. It's in somebody else's name.
All rise and like, subscribe, and bang the gavel, baby.
Yes, it is time for We Got a Case. Zoom court, Judge Herman on the bench.
We will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived the reading of the charges, penalties, and rights.
The great Judge Herman.
I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
A little late start, but that's all right. We're here now. Everybody settle down. Let's do this.
And I'm going to set this matter for a probable cause conference. It will be on May 5th of this year at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're going to be in front of Judge McCabe, and you're going to be on Zoom. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me go through what your bond conditions would be. You have to appear for any examination, arraignment, trial, sentencing, or any time and places directed by the courts. You're represented by an attorney. Any notices to appear will go to the attorney instead of to you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Abide by any judgment entered in the case and surrender to serve any sentence imposed. Do you understand?
Yes.
Billion understands.
Do not leave Michigan without court permission. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do not commit any crimes while you are released. Do you understand?
That's an important one.
Yes.
Notify the court in writing of any change of address or telephone number. Do you understand?
Yes.
No alcohol, marijuana, or illegal or controlled substances. Do you understand?
Indeed.
Yes.
I didn't have any internet, so I had to. As soon as it came back on, I jumped on. I was hoping it was supposed to be on by 2. It was on a little earlier, so as soon as it came on, I jumped on for you guys. What's it? Judge coming in, leaning hard on my man here in jail booth number 2.
Drug testing.
Robert,
You
good to see
understand
you.
that?
See?
You have a curfew from 9 p.m. to
Jules
6
looking at the bright side of it all.
a.m. Do you understand?
Yes.
You're not to possess or purchase a firearm or other dangerous weapon. And no ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes.
Howdy, howdy.
You'd be on GPS tethered if you got out. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Ghost, good to see you.
These
Viking.
bond conditions will be on the police lien computer.
You can
So,
object, but
Make sure you follow it. You understand that?
Yes.
having no fun. You're to have no fun while you're out on bond.
Okay, what do you want to tell me, Mr. Wheaton, before I set bond?
Hey, it's all right.
Hudson is presently unemployed, not on probation or parole, doesn't have a valid license at this time. His mailing address at present is 2558 Paducah, Flint, Michigan 48504. And for 2 days has prior felony convictions.
Ooh.
I would ask the court to set an appropriate bond under the circumstances, possibly maybe a 10% bond.
Well, this allegedly happened back in August of 2021. So he's been in jail for 3 days. How did he come to the attention of the authorities most recently?
Now you have no idea.
Terminator. Good
You
evening.
got arrested 3 days ago?
I've been in jail since last night. I got pulled over. I never went to jail for this.
So you're a passenger in a car that got pulled over?
I never got pulled over. I don't think somebody used my name, honestly.
I'm talking about a couple of days ago. How did you get to jail?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was driving. Yeah, I was driving yesterday.
Okay.
I will not reproduce.
Does he
Neither
have
will he.
DWLS or no? There's not another file, is there?
No.
Okay.
A
Got it.
lot of confusion with this guy.
All right. Listen, I don't like the police chase thing.
We missed the chase.
And to me, it means you might be a flight risk. So I'm not going to do a PR bond. I got to ensure your appearance.
Dan, go ahead.
You know,
he's definitely not here.
Chases are a danger to public safety. People get killed. Innocent people get killed because people don't want to address their problems. People don't want to stand up and deal with their issues. Other people have to get killed or hurt because of that. That's not right.
Canada. Ooh,
Public safety.
Canada.
I'm setting your bond, cash or surety, 9,900.
Why not just 10,000?
Okay.
Can we go to 10? Roxanne.
Thank you. You can step out of the booth, sir.
Doug.
See you in a minute.
He didn't like that.
2 minutes.
So this guy was in a car chase last night. And we missed it. Oh, got another participant entering the room. Mystery guests, sit down and state your name. Man, that was a good one. I really liked that. What happened to his face? Could have self-shaven this morning in the old pokey. All right, well, we're waiting for that guy to jump back. We're going to jump to a different courtroom while the good judge is gone. I see he's not there. So we'll jump over here. Let's see what's happening.
Are you in 12th grade right now? Yeah. Where at?
I'm at Success Academy.
Speak up.
Success Academy.
We're clocked going 102 miles per hour.
Woo!
Said you had THC in your system.
Not the THC, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Why is
That's
this
against the law, so I guess I don't like that either, but I really don't like 102 miles an hour. So, what the heck? I don't like it so much.
Yeah, all right. Everybody's late today.
Is there anything you'd like to say before I post sentence?
Yes. I'm sorry that
True. But I promise not to reproduce any more. Does that count? She's got the mumbles.
Still in school, Judge. She works part-time in addition to that. We asked the court to take that into consideration. Not something we normally see with a lot of people that come in front of us that are actually in school and working at the same time.
That's true. You're right. But I also don't like people driving 102 miles an hour. They're on their way home. They're busy to get home. So it's a $200 fine. This is the charge here.
They are speaking really low. It's making me mad.
You were on an instructional permit. It's a $200 fine, $150 in court costs, a mandatory $50 judgment fee, a mandatory $75 victim rights fee. There's a $100 cost of prosecution assessment. $60
Good
jail
morning.
fee and $100 screening. You did not go to jail at all?
They arrested you and they took you to
They arrested you and put you in the what?
the hospital
Headlock.
with who?
Okay, well, okay. The total on fines and costs is $735 for 30 days in jail. And
We'll
I'm
take
gonna
the 30
send you
days.
the day in jail. I'm gonna send you over. They're gonna take you to jail right now. I'm gonna give them a note. They can release you after midnight, but I'm getting tired of people driving by me on the expressway going 100 and some miles an hour. And I just think it's dangerous.
He's not happy.
I think it's the most dangerous thing that's going on the highways, more than all this other stuff that everybody's pushing. So I'll send you to 1-day jail, release after midnight. How much time are you gonna need to pay the $735?
Oh, I'll have it tomorrow.
You understand that charge and the possible penalties?
I just started.
Yes,
my
I
job.
do, Your Honor.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, do you understand that if you plead guilty, you're giving up the right to have a trial?
Is that right, Walter?
Yes. By pleading guilty, you're giving up the rights to a trial and the rights you would have at a trial. Judge
What is
just put
this
it
we're
up on
looking
the
at?
screen.
Would you like me to read?
I can't see, I can't read really well.
Yeah, how about if I read them to you, since this is a
Okay.
pretty serious.
Willie.
A misdemeanor, just listen for a second. And if by pleading guilty, you're giving up the right to have a trial and all the rights that go along with it.
Mariposa.
That would include to have the right to have a trial by jury, to have an attorney assist or help you. And in fact, you've been appointed an attorney by the court.
I like how he's put up
You have
the
the right at a
rights and
trial
stuff.
to see all the witnesses against you and question all.
Show of
witnesses
hands.
against you.
Should we
You can
buy
have the
some
court
followers?
assistant
Anybody?
helping you in bringing witnesses that you want to come to
Sorry,
court.
Jacob. 4.
You could be a witness for yourself, or
1,
you could remain
2, 3.
silent. And if you did remain silent, your silence could not be used against you. You'd be presumed innocent, and the prosecutor would have the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. If you plead guilty, there won't be any trial. Fines and costs and other financial obligations could be due at sentence. And any appeal to circuit court would be by permission or by leave to appeal. There's no right.
Sounds
to
like a
appeal
trick
if you
question.
plead guilty.
But
You
hey,
understand
Stephanie,
all
how
those
are you?
rights?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I lay back up. Yes.
Good gracious, he got
And
up
by
on the
pleading guilty,
screen.
do you give up those rights?
Yes.
Trial by fire.
Can you tell me what you did to be guilty of the charge?
Great Testament song.
What happened was, as of January 27th of this year, Kimberly Graff, also known as Felicia Moskowitz, contacted me. She's crying
AKA?
for help
Go on.
that day. She gave me the home address. Felicia did. I'm gonna call her Felicia because that's how I call her. Felicia gave me her number, her home address to be there. It took me about 2 to 3 hours to get there because I had to come up with some money to get gas to get to there to help her out. I had no ill will against Kimberly or Kevin in any threatening matter. I just wanted to know, because my previous foster mother, Gail Kilborn, used to do this like with one of her foster kids having a little problem, adopted kids having problems. They get a hold of the parents, but
It's
we
terrible.
communicate. I wanted to communicate, see what was going on at that moment. So she did something wrong, and I would have punished her for the same thing. It was sexting. So I didn't know about that until Felicia, after a month or two later, around say March, she contacted me back. Not underneath Catherine Graff. Catherine Graff.
Why's she going by 2
her
names?
biological name, Felicia Moskowitz. Telling me, and her and I did a video messenger on Facebook Messenger in front of my therapist. She told me that she was doing sexting. And
Go on.
as a father, I found that very alarming, like any father would. So her and I were communicating via Messenger.
Viva!
I'm talking about
Viva!
Felicia, and I had no ill will. And then when the last time I actually saw Felicia in person was,
Viva
I would
Felicia.
say the week before April 1st. The week before that, it was a Friday. She was in Pine Rest. Felicia went after her adopted mother, shoved her, as Kevin said to me at Pine Rest campus, that she shoved Kimberly down a flight of steps, beat the crap out of her, and then Felicia chased Kimberly with knives around the house after Kimberly. And that was the last time I ever saw Felicia. And I was trying to get a hold of them to see if she's okay and stuff like that as a concerned parent. But since I'm going to be on this.
Hold on a sec. I still haven't heard a crime. Counsel, can you help me?
So James, at some point, obviously, Felicia initiated this contact back in January. But at some point, her foster parents contacted you not to have any additional communication with her. Is that correct?
They said no. The only time they said, if you want to contact them, then I was just communicating. So Felicia was getting a hold of me, but then I went to the house the first time, and then I went to the door. I knocked on the door. I had a lot of emotions going through my head. My wife would be there right with me along the time. She could back me up. I had a lot of anger, but since my therapist, Fiona Smith, taught me about my anger issues, it's normal to be angry, but how to use it in a positive message. I went there nicely. I said, "Hi, Kim. This is," and she said, like with a door, like ajar, "Hi, Jim." That was it. Is Catherine here or Felicia?
So James, we're just trying to enter a factual basis for the plea.
But I did show up a lot there. Like sometimes I came there unannounced, just drove my vehicle back and forth just once in a while.
And that was after you were told not to go anywhere near the home, correct?
I did pretty much, yes.
Okay.
This guy's a class act.
So you admit that at least on April 5th, you had repeated contacts with the Graffs?
The last time I was there was April 1st. So technically, yes.
So at the beginning of April.
Yes.
Your home was in Township of Ionia County.
Yes.
And you were having repeated contact with them, knowing that you had been told not to.
Yes.
And you would agree that would probably upset somebody.
Yes.
Okay. Counselor, are you both satisfied with the factual basis?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
That's going to be a good one.
I agree. Repeated contact with someone after being told not to, I think, meets the elements of the charge as defined in the statute. So I will accept the plea. I do find it to be knowing, accurate, and voluntary, and a factual basis does support the plea. As far as bond, I'm willing to reduce bond. Now bond is.
Right now it's a 1,000 cash surety, but because he's on disability, they were unable to post.
So agreed upon, I will make bond 1,000 personal recognizance.
Oh, what's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? He's breaking down.
I know there was talk of a tether as part of a probation condition. For any reason it can't be a condition for bond.
Very good chance.
Makes sense.
And I'll be in Grand Rapids.
I'll be in Grand Rapids.
I'm sorry.
At Chuckle Hut performing opening for Doug Stanhope. Catch me out.
As a condition of bond.
I'll be in Grand Rapids.
Report to district corporation.
Yeah, they should be able to know.
So James, when you get released from jail, you need to come to district court probation here at the courthouse, and they'll get you set up.
He started
All right.
crying and stopped very quickly.
Carol's here at the courthouse. She knows where the courthouse is. Just go down to district court probation. They'll get you set up with the tether and a pre-sentence report. Okay.
Is there an issue with regards to medications also?
The jail is not giving him his second meds, so he knows he needs to get back on it.
Yeah, let's add that to the bottom. You need to be taking your meds as ordered by.
Oh, please
I will,
take
Your
your
Honor.
Okay. If not, that could be a violation of bond. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, he definitely needs his. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. Like his head is too big for his body, and his shirt looks like really loose.
All right, so I've also added a condition of taking your meds as prescribed.
I'll also be at the Laugh Factory in Flint.
No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Pick up your tickets now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That guy was nutty. Man, that guy was nutty. Let's jump back over here.
Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Sure.
See if we can hear this judge again.
I'm not guilty,
If
Your
you
Honor.
did it, own up.
Well, it was in my house, so I would say yes, that
But
it's
according
my
to the police
responsibility.
report, it not only was in your house, you were the only one who had any access to it. And they said you were under the influence of meth when the police came in. That's what led to these other charges too, that are
Uh-oh.
being dismissed. So is it yours or not? The meth pipes.
No, it was not mine, but it was in my
How
house,
do
so it was
you-
in my possession.
How'd you use the meth if you didn't use the meth pipe? How else did you use it?
I chewed it up like gum, Your
How were
Honor.
you under
It's
the
not a-
influence of meth without using the meth pipe?
I didn't even get a chance to use it that day, sir. I did do it. I had done it before, but I didn't do it that day.
Not that day. No,
My
sir.
husband found it, and I was going to do it. I'm not gonna lie, so I feel like I am guilty for the possession of that. But I didn't get to do any that day because he found it and called the police on me.
How old are you?
37.
Going on
How long you been
80.
doing
I'm
meth?
sober. I'm sober today, sir.
Because you're in jail.
Well, you're sober today. I hope so. You're at the jail. How long you been doing that?
I haven't been doing meth, sir. I just started. I was doing it with that guy that I brought in my house for about 6 months, and I
Sure.
haven't had any contact with him since last summer. And things have been going really well with my family, except for my grandfather's passed away, and taking care of my grandma now, trying to salvage my marriage, and face adulthood. But
How many days have you been in jail?
7 days, Your Honor.
Requesting credit for time served?
We are, Your Honor.
7 days jail, 7 days credit. You have 21 days to appeal. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
She had some ink, boy.
Sheriff? Okay, how about Tamise Dunn?
Camise done. Somebody go in the hallway and yell it 3 times, please. Oh, we got a new contestant. Come on down. Have a seat.
Hello, Your Honor.
Tamise Dunn?
Yes, sir.
How are you? All right, you're charged with retail fraud. It says here, Mr.
Vinny, are you going to buy
that she's
viewers?
might be pleading guilty to attempt retail fraud.
You will be pleading to attempt retail fraud, Your Honor, and at sentencing, we'll be asking for time served. She has done 20 days in the county jail.
Ooh.
Is that correct, Ms. Dunn?
Yes, sir.
Maximum penalty for this offense could be up to 45 days jail, fines, and $250 plus court costs. You understand that?
No
Yes, sir.
problems. You're good.
Mr. Bobby has been appointed to represent you here today. Are you pleading guilty to the reduced charge and waiving your right to have a trial by judge or jury?
Well, we're getting there.
Yes, I am, sir.
Please like this video. Do
Are
us
you
a
waiving
favor.
the rights you'd have at a trial, including the right to call witnesses for
I
your
saw
defense,
that.
the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses who appear against you at trial, the right to testify or to remain silent, not have that silence used against you, and the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you waiving each of those rights?
Yes, sir.
Loud, don't mention that.
Are you on probation?
Somebody will
or
show up and
parole?
slap you if you do.
No, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, Whole truth, nothing but the truth. so
Oh,
help
you're
you
fine.
God.
I do.
Did you commit retail fraud or attempt to do so in Grand Blanc Township, Genesee County, in the state of Michigan, February 22nd, 2020, by either by stealing or attempting to steal property that was offered for sale at the Walmart store while it was open to the public?
Yes, sir.
Not the
What
Walmart.
you trying to steal?
I can't remember, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you're lying. You know what you're trying to steal. Come on now.
Okay. 20 days, huh?
That's correct.
How old are you, man?
50 years old.
50 years old. It's kind of a, isn't retail fraud kind of a younger person's game?
A little long in the tooth, aren't
Yes, sir, it is. I was just telling the officer. Just got a job
I mean, come on.
and everything.
you? What?
It's time to get my shit together.
Yeah, get your shit
Sorry
together.
for cussing.
Making us old people look bad.
I know. I agree.
20 days jail. I'll give you credit for time served. If you want to appeal, you got 21 days to do so. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Judge. You're welcome. Thank you.
Trying to get my shit together, she said, Judge.
They're shorthand out and back. but
Patricia Sherrick, not
She's
here.
gonna be in she's from Holding. This
Let me
judge-
go to Frankie Ellen Love. Hello.
Frankie!
Right here in the courtroom while we're waiting.
Come on, Frankie. Get over here. This another woman?
Pleading guilty to disorderly conduct. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
To misdemeanor carries a maximum penalty of 93 days jail, up to 93 days jail, fines of $500. You understand that, Ms. Lowe?
Yes, sir.
You're present when I explain the legal rights, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bove is representing you or assisting you here today. Are you pleading guilty to the amended charge of disorderly conduct and waiving your right to trial along with the rights of trial that I explained? Are you on probation or parole? No? You're not. Okay, please raise your right hand. You promise to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Did you engage in disorderly conduct
On a Wednesday.
on or about January 15th, 2021 in Grand Blanc Township, Genesee County, in the state of Michigan?
Wow, woman.
Did that occur?
Could be dancing on the
Or did it
table.
occur?
A very sturdy one, I hope.
Where at?
It's a party store. Right there by Saginaw and the door right near the point by Hill called Jimmy's.
At Jimmy's Liquor Store you did this?
I got pulled over.
Jimmy's liquor store. Jimmy's liquor store.
You had a gun, you had a 380?
Yeah, it was my-
What was that for?
It was for protection. I had a stalker, abusive ex-boyfriend.
She had a stalker, this girl,
Were you gonna shoot?
and I don't have one.
Had to. If he tried to put
I'm
me
kind
in
of
the
upset.
again, I would've.
Well, I like to know who I'm dealing with.
And she had a 380. This is a picture of it right here. Pew pew.
So, okay, so you had the 380 for protection,
Yeah, it was
but
registered.
why were you,
That's what I'm trying to translate in case you guys can't
why
hear.
did you get stopped?
I don't know. They never really told me why they stopped me that day.
She's showing a lot of skin, ain't she? Look at that.
Transporting possession of a firearm in a vehicle. Did you have a CPL?
No, I didn't have it yet. I have taken a CPL class since then, though.
Kind of got lucky, didn't you?
Yeah,
I
How
bet
many
she
days
has.
did you spend in jail?
2.
2?
Yep.
They take your gun?
They still have.
This is
it.
true,
If I
phone
just
guy.
cleared up, I could get it back, though.
Let's think about that.
I'm sorry to announce that you can't.
I'm not saying you're not pretty enough,
You might like it, you're not getting-
but you're not pretty enough.
You have a gun illegally, you don't get the gun back.
It was registered. It wasn't illegal.
It's illegal for you to transport or be in possession, it's illegal. So you want to take that up, you can do it, go all the way to the Supreme Court for all I care, but
There's a lot of good court in Michigan.
you're sentenced to 2 days jail, I'll give you 2 days credit, and you forfeit firearm. You have 21 days if you want to appeal.
Got to get her pew pew back. Can't have it back. Pew Pew now belongs
Tyler
to them.
Shane Cernak Preston.
That was a hell of a name.
2E
Look at this guy.
00453T.
He's just strolling.
Please, let's remove the hat.
Oh, that hair.
It says here is, they've amended it to the 0.9 tractable misdemeanor.
That hair, son. That's serious hair.
Is that what you want to do, sir?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty to that charge? It does carry up to 93 days jail, fines of $500, 0 points, doesn't get abstracted. Are you pleading guilty to that charge and waiving your right of a trial by the judge or jury along with the rights of trial that are stated on the record?
Yes, sir.
Are you on probation or parole?
No, sir.
Please raise your right hand. You promise to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
I
Did
shall
you
do.
allow yourself to operate a motor vehicle on Jason Drive in Grand Blanc Township, motor vehicle, March 14, 2022, without a valid license?
Yes, I did.
You got one now? The valid license?
No, and I actually wanted to ask you how I would go about doing that.
How would you get a valid license? Have you ever had
We
one?
can work on that.
Well, yes, but it was suspended, and I was hoping I could get it figured out, like with this.
Well, if I had the history of if I had your driving history here, I might be able to help you, but I don't. It's not part of, they didn't print it out. My suggestion would
Did he
be
drive there
go to
today?
Secretary of State, go to Secretary of State and ask them, what do you need to do? It may be something as simple as paying a reinstatement fee. It may require, do you have outstanding tickets?
No. No, they told me I had to wait until September because of this still being in the system. And after this was resolved, then I'd have to figure it out.
Well, this is not gonna be in the system because it doesn't get abstract. So this is your lucky day in that regard.
That's it. That's the way it is. The old
Relatively
stockade.
easy- relatively
You might have
easy
break it
to
out of retirement.
I didn't say that. It's
Great
not gonna
callback.
be, this isn't gonna complicate it as much as you might anticipate it would. So my suggestion is. You got
All right, guys.
$225
I hate to
fine.
do this, but I'm jumping over to here. You guys got to see this
Work
guy.
that it was June 15th that he was first officially diagnosed with a schizoidal personality disorder.
So from June 15th to June 20th, or sometime in 2018, he was receiving treatment.
Yeah, he let me look here.
This guy's been doing some
He
crazy
was
stuff.
first prescribed in September 25th of 2018.
You go from not
An
being here
ER
to being able to have
doctor
too much.
prescribed him olanzapine for psychosis, and that was the first.
One of
he
my
began
favorite
taking,
wrestlers of all time,
olanzapine.
Psychosis.
And like I said, he took that up until what I believe was October of 2020.
Okay, and do you have knowledge about
Women.
what kind of resulted in his PTSD?
Why he has PTSD? Yeah, this kind of all started when he was 8. He and his twin sister had snuck out of the house while my wife was taking a nap, and there was a small pond we didn't know about in a neighbor's yard through some woods, and they went into the pond, and she drowned, and he nearly drowned trying to save her. And that is, according to him, of what he's told me, that's when he began hearing voices.
Okay, so at 8 years old.
Wow.
Yes, correct.
So is this his dad?
And are you aware of any other treatment that he's received since 2018?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a few counselors. I think he's gone through about
I think
5
Sam's is
in
dead.
total, one previous to 2018. But yeah, he's gone through about 4 or 5. He also did some group work. He went to the Hearing Voices Network that's provided through NAMI. He went through some NAMI workshops as well. He voluntarily did that. And then in May,
I
of
might have to bounce
2021,
out of this. That's rough.
there was an incident. He called us out on May 20th. He was in a lot of physical
Greg.
pain. We took him to the
Hallelujah. Thank you
ER.
for the stars. on
Last
Facebook.
year?
I'm sorry.
Was that last year?
Yeah, that was yes, summer of last year in May. We took him to the ER. They couldn't find anything physically wrong with him, but he was in severe pain, and the
He is
doctor
way off
said it
his
was
meds.
psychosomatic due to the psychosis. The next day, we took him over to Rainier for evaluation, and at that point, they brought in DCR. I only remember her first name. It was DCR Rose. She came in and made the decision that he needed to be involuntarily committed.
That's why I was
And
thinking
he was there for
a second ago.
approximately
I
3
hope it
weeks.
was an accident. I mean, it's
And
like
how was he like after he came back from that involuntary commitment?
He was really good. He was really stable and doing fairly well at that point. So
So to your knowledge, when he's taking the proper medication, he is not engaging in the same behaviors that he normally engages in.
correct. He's able to control his temper, and he's not experiencing the level of mania from the psychosis and the bipolar condition that he's been diagnosed with.
Okay, so I want to talk about the most recent charge that just happened this year. Can you kind of just, without really talking too much about the facts of this case, can you kind of describe the, I guess, the mental
people that
health
need it,
aspect of
need
it and how that might have led to what happened in the malicious mischief 3? That's the newest charge.
Sure. Since about, I don't know, starting in about January of 2022, he began to believe that we were being controlled by the CIA or the KGB. He also believed that I had raped and killed his sister, our daughter, Sasha, as opposed to the drowning. He also believed that my wife had molested him and that we were both murderers and pedophiles.
all right. Well, this is
controlled
getting
by
heavy, so we're about
some
to
type of secret
we'll leave
agency
this
or
one.
whatnot.
Let's go back over here. Pump up the volume.
Raise your right hand. You promise to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. So
Too heavy for
Yes,
me.
Your Honor.
Sorry, guys.
Mr. Bove is representing your interest here today. Are you pleading guilty to operating while intoxicated and waiving your right to have a trial by judge or jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving the other rights of trial that I've explained on the record here in the court?
Got too deep.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you
Too
on
deep for Mikey.
probation or parole?
Yes, Your Honor.
What court?
Probation for MDOP.
And what court? Where?
I feel bad for the guy too.
You understand that a plea of guilty here could result in a violation of your probation?
Yes, Your Honor. We actually already took care of the violation and everything on that.
Okay. I put you under oath. You promise to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you operate a motor vehicle while intoxicated February 28, 2001 in the city of Grand Blanc, Genesee County in the state of Michigan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you driving a vehicle on Saginaw Street in the city of Grand Blanc?
Yes, Your Honor.
Had you been drinking prior to operating the motor vehicle?
Yes, sir.
What were you drinking?
Bud Light.
Good choice.
Okay. As a result of the Bud Light, did that cause you to be intoxicated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's sue
Okay,
Budweiser.
What happened here? Was there two vehicle at the corner of Saginaw and Holly Road? Were you involved in a collision with another car?
Yes, sir. Thankfully, nobody was hurt.
Yeah, we make a lot of jokes, but mental illness is rough. That's bad.
What happened? Did you strike the other car?
It's
Did they
everybody
strike you?
deserves a chance, and that's definitely
my
not
cell phone at the red
good.
light, and I got ran into.
I don't think they're gonna let him talk.
They gave you a breathalyzer or a blood draw?
I believe it was the breathalyzer. I know we ended up at the hospital because I was pretty banged up. Nothing too serious.
He did look like he's scary a little
It may
bit.
have been a blood draw, Your Honor.
Right, we're just about ready to.
Only 14, Your Honor.
0.247 grams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood. You understand that's above the legal limit in the state of Michigan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty to operating
0.2.
while intoxicated freely, voluntarily, and understandingly because you're guilty of that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll accept the plea. We have to set a sentencing date because there's another vehicle involved. And you have to get a screening from the probation department I'm gonna set a sentencing for
He was drunk as a skunk. June, go on.
June 21st. Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Your Honor, with the probation violation, currently on grandfather, I got like 3 more weeks of that. I did have the alcohol assessment program, and they have transferred my probation from Livingston County to a field agent here in Dempsey County.
We may need to
dealing
lengthen
with,
that time a little
Officer
bit.
Desgrange, because he does with the grandfathers. And then I believe from what I've heard, I will be overseen by Ms. Whitten for the, I still got like a year and a week probation left on that.
Well, that may be true, but I've still got to get an alcohol screening, and you have to go to our probation department to go through it. Now, I may not come, I doubt if I'm given 2 probations, but
Double probation.
1 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
Double super secret probation.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Yeah. Daniel Beckman.
Yes, and get your nap.
Afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Rob St. Simonton on behalf of Ms. Beckman, who's at the podium. Judge, I've had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Gelser on this, and we're requesting one final pre-trial date. Ms. Beckman is bond compliant. We believe a little bit of time with continued therapy and AA treatment.
Terminator, we're going to be thinking of you.
Okay, and give you either June 2nd or June 7th.
That's rough.
June 2nd's at 8:30 in the morning, June 7th's at 1 o'clock.
Bigfoot. Good to see you. County, huh? What'd you do? What'd you do? Judge Kim is live. So live. I saw he was getting set up, but I didn't know if he was live.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Let's see. If he is, that's where we'll go, and we'll round out our day.
Zachary Ty Kelsey.
Trust me, I wish we were watching Johnny Depp case, but we would have had to do it from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we just miss too much.
Judge, this is the date and time set for sentencing. I would just note, and as the court brought to my attention last time we were here, Mr. Kelsey does have another Grand Blanc Township matter, which is currently set for a pretrial arraignment on May 5th.
Mr. Kelsey, I do presume.
Last time he was here, and he mentioned that he didn't have a case like that.
It had not been issued at that time.
Interesting.
Yes, Judge Kim is live, but there's nothing happening yet.
He's not spoken with any officers involved in that. He was just kind of given notice of it when we showed up to court at that time, and we'll be present on the 5th.
Well, this was a delayed plea. It was delayed until
It really is. It's a lot of just ridiculousness, but I mean,
conditions were no violation.
we would have to watch it
no assaultive
nonstop.
behavior, and there's another one that says no assaultive behavior. So I wrote it twice. And I believe your allegation is that you engaged in assaultive behavior. And now whether you're guilty of the charge, I don't know, but
Judge Simpson is doing something. We're going to jump over there and see exactly what he's up to. I don't know what he's doing. He's got a lot of people in the courtroom now.
The cursory information we were given on that matter, though we don't represent him on that, I would note that
quandary, that would be an issue, certainly a fact that would need to be decided by the trier, fact that being the jury. When listening to all of the evidence as it relates to these particular elements, the court would find that the people have sustained their burden at this stage of showing by probable cause that an offense of open murder has occurred. Again, not specifying degree because I'm not required to, but is as charged in the common law way of open murder, that the people have sustained their burden. So for those reasons, finding that people have shown some evidence on each and every one of the elements, the court would bind the defendant over to stand trial on that charge. Mr. Hall.
Is this an evidentiary hearing?
Defendant having waived formal reading, standing mute, the court will enter a not guilty plea. Pre-trial in this matter will be set before Judge Conlon on June 6, 2022, 1:30 before Judge Patrick Conlon.
This is a preliminary examination docket. And this one was for murder.
An argument addressing bond.
I think I had gone through a rather lengthy bond argument previously. On this
That is correct, Your Honor. The ability to hold
that little boot
has given Your Honor a greater access to facts, testimony, and other evidence.
Open murder.
On the issue. And we would request an opportunity if Your Honor.
I will say this. I will not,
I will go back and
will not
grab that, Walter. If you could send us a message
that I've heard today,
with the link, that would help.
Would persuade the court that there should be a different result with reference to that bond at this point. So, but you may go ahead if you wish.
I will keep it very brief in that event. Your Honor, one thing that's changed between today and the last time we were here, we had an acknowledgement on the record. When it came to the 911 call, which was the primary, I'm not going to say it was the only, I know that was addressing the people's response to last time, but it was the primary issue that was argued concerning bond the last time a motion was filed. One thing we've heard today is upon further review, Mr. Chambers certainly did not claim that he was the homeowner of that residence. That is different from what Your Honor heard last time. The other thing that Your Honor heard today from multiple witnesses is that my client called the police, he remained on scene, he did not resist, didn't dispose or hide his firearm, didn't give a false name, didn't take anything from Mr. Henning. And there's no evidence of him being intoxicated during the events that took place in this case. As such, it was recognized by even a better detective, like Detective Edge, as being very unusual given this subset of crimes that he is charged with. We know these are the most severe crimes that are contemplated in criminal law in the state of Michigan. However, this one is different. And I ask you to consider.
All right, we're belling on this.
I'm Chief Judge David A. Rickey, substituting for Judge Webster in presiding over this docket. Jill Gillette appears as Greenwood County Attorney representing the state in the afternoon proceedings. I'm going to go ahead and start with Kenneth Darby. He's the first case on the docket. It's the state of Kansas versus Kenneth William Darby, case number 2019 CR 158. Mr. Darby, I have before me a warrant to show cause alleging probation violation assigned by Judge Satterfield. It alleges that you failed to report to the 31st Judicial District Community Corrections Office in December. And you failed to report the current whereabouts were unknown. Further hearing will need to be set on this allegation before you're assigned judge, which is Judge Satterfield. Missy, if you could suggest a date on Judge Satterfield's calendar.
Yes, June 16th at 10 o'clock.
I worked in North Carolina.
Further hearing will be set for June 16, 2022 at 10 o'clock a.m. You
North
must plan to fully
Carolina.
participate on that date. It's done by Zoom, by both audio and video means. June 16th, 10 o'clock, Mr. Darby. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have the financial resources to hire your own lawyer?
No, Your Honor.
Did you have a court-appointed lawyer before in your case?
Yes.
Who was it?
Joseph Farve.
Okay. The court will reappoint Mr. Favre to represent Mr. Darby's interests. And apparently you've already posted this $2,500 bond required by your statute.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you have a bondsman assist you?
Yes.
Who's your bondsman?
James Bond.
Ron Florio.
Court will maintain you under that bond pending further proceedings in your case.
A little loud.
You probably should go ahead and contact Ed Ketley from the Community Corrections Office.
Look at the
in
skull
El
back
Dorado.
there.
Okay.
Touch base with them and follow any reporting instructions that Mr. Ketley or
Look at the skull.
the Community Corrections Office gives you between now and the time of the hearing. All right, Mr. Darby?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
He's a head
Gillette,
hunter.
anything further on the Darby case?
Not from the state.
Very well. You can leave the meeting, Mr. Darby. Your matters in recess.
Thank you.
It's the Dobby. Yeah, she's definitely not
Do I have a Trevor Hahn on this meeting?
hot enough to put up with all that crap.
I'm going to need you to unmute yourself if you're going to speak to the court, Mr. Hahn.
Uh-oh. We got some great characters here. Look at Jill up there.
I muted him because he had background noise.
Jill
I
looks
see.
like she'd be a hell of a cook.
Okay. Trevor Hahn? I'll need a response from you verbally, Mr. Hahn. He's apparently not hearing me.
No, I can't hear you.
Well, do you have your volume turned down or something?
Are you ignorant?
Or your audio shut off?
Is your brain shut off? Judge is about to get mad at you. Don't make Judge yell at you. Judge Ricky's
Okay,
going to
Mr.
get
Hahn, Can you
mad.
hear me now?
He's a young guy. He don't know how to use Zoom. I feel like Jill up here, the county attorney. I feel like she's a hell of a cook.
Apparently he can't.
Me and her could get along. She just promised to cook.
Okay, Mr. Hahn will need to
every
continue
night.
to stay with the meeting, obviously, until he can rejoin volume. He may have to just get out of the meeting and come back in. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next case.
Back to the line.
Mr. Woody, I think Mr. Jensen's case. Mr. Jensen, do you have a Mr. Koenig with you?
Yes, he is. He'll be right here.
This is State of Kansas versus William J. Koenig. It's case number 2022 CR 45. Jill Gillette appears for the state again. Gail Jensen is defense counsel. Mr. Koenig apparently appearing in the office of his attorney, Mr. Jensen. This is a new case. Court has before it a complaint and information that alleges in count 1, criminal damage to property, a level 9 non-person felony. Count 2, driving under the influence, a class B misdemeanor. Count 3, violation of a protection order, a class A misdemeanor. Next page, count 4, transporting an open container, an unclassified misdemeanor. Count 5, criminal damage to property, a class B non-person misdemeanor. Count 6, criminal damage to property, a class B misdemeanor. Count 7, an accident involving death or personal injury, an unclassified misdemeanor. And on the third page, count 8, duty of driver after accident, an infraction. Since felonies or a felony is involved, the defendant will not be asked to plead at this time. Rather,
Doing good,
the
Danny
hearing
B.
scheduling will be made before the assigned judge, or at least the magistrate judge until the preliminary
All right.
hearing stage. So can you suggest a date
Well, hear
for
this.
preliminary hearing or
See what we
a
got.
docket for such purpose, Missy?
Yes, May 20th at 1:30.
Mr. Jensen, I trust that'll work for you.
Yes, it will.
All right, further proceedings in the Koenig case are set. And I presume that's going to be before Judge Webster by Zoom.
Yes.
1:30 p.m., May 20, 2022. Mr. Koenig must fully participate in that proceeding, similarly to the way he has done today. Now, does he need to be brought in for processing?
I believe, Your Honor, he's already been printed and photographed.
Is that correct, Ms. Gillette?
I believe so. I think he was arrested the day of the incident.
What bond has been posted, if any?
10,000 cash surety.
Very
by
well.
Ron Florio.
Okay. Thank you. I'll maintain Mr. Koenig under that bond pending further proceedings in the case. And obviously he has, appears to be retained counsel, Mr. Jensen.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Anything further we need to address, Ms. Gillette?
Not at this time on this matter.
Very well. Mr. Jensen?
Not at this time. Thank you, sir.
All right. If there's nothing further, then the Koenig matter will be in recess.
All right, guys, let's jump on to the pod, the F pod.
So if I find out that you're flexing on your dad or pushing at him or trying to hit him or something again, we're just going to bring you back here. Find out you're violating your electronic monitor. We'll just bring you back here. Okay. Did you have a question though for me, Stephanie?
Yes, so I have a job. Am I allowed to go to work?
Dad, where's her job at?
She works by Hewlin Street, but at this point, we don't know if she still has it or not. So that's something we're gonna have to find out.
Is it necessary for your household? Is it necessary that she has that job?
Negative, not necessary at all.
Okay, I don't want to tell you she can't. I'm just asking you, Dad, I kind of just want to get a handle on her for a little bit.
Yes, let's
And
do
the
that.
fewer places she is, the safer she is and the better for her. But if you were telling me that the family needs her to work, then I won't step in the way of that.
No.
Yeah, I love this judge. I think she's
So the
very
answer is, Stephanie, you may
underrated
not go to work at this time.
in the looks
Okay?
department too.
Maybe you and Jeff can explain that to them and they maybe take you back at some point, okay? You have some very serious issues. I don't think you understand how, I remember your dad. Now your dad's very concerned and very scared for you, and he should be. Because you are very vulnerable to other people who do not really care about you. The only man who truly cares about you in your life is your dad, okay? I promise you.
Oh,
So I will release you and we'll go from there. All right. And Dad, you can get her back to court whenever they schedule a court date, right?
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you,
Your Honor.
You're welcome.
no Lisa,
Jonathan.
but you do got Melissa Hamrick.
Hi, Jonathan, I'm Judge
this
Terry.
is good, right?
This is a detention hearing. You have a right to have this hearing within 2 business days of being brought in. And the purpose is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you detained. You have a right to remain silent and you have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Melissa Hamrick and she is here on Zoom with us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, let's see what brings you in. You're on probation until 2026 for aggravated robbery. You referred on DTA, issued on the 11th of this month for a
Where'd
runaway.
Morticia Adams come from in the middle there?
Fort Worth PD made contact with you at a hospital and brought you in. On the 8th of this month, mom and the probation officer, or mom let the probation officer know. The
Twitchalooya.
therapist did.
Thank you for
that,
the cheer
the day
on the
before
Twitch. Sorry, something flew by me.
You left, and as of that morning, you had not returned home. You were texting with your mother that you relapsed. They were able to locate you at a hotel and pick you up and took you to the hospital. The hospital determined you were a danger to yourself and needed to be transferred to another appropriate hospital. Tested positive for methamphetamines, Percocet, and fentanyl.
Yes, of course, Walter. We need more live chases. That's where it's at. That's the bread and butter, baby. Come on.
All right, Jonathan, you are involved, you're in such a deep hole, and I recognize that it's so difficult for you. You can't pull yourself out of this alone. It's just not, unfortunately, that's the harsh reality about the substances that you are using and your vulnerability to them. So because of that addiction, I find that you are a danger to yourself, and I'm going to go ahead and detain you. It's being recommended that we look at a long-term residential treatment center for you at this time. And so that's just based on the limited information I have right now. It's looking like that's the best route to keep you safe and help you on the road to recovery. So
definitely Tuesday.
Probably feel like it's impossible, but it's not. Okay. Right. And so is there a parent or guardian here for him?
His mom.
Okay, that's right. You're his mom. Okay. All right, Jonathan. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to detain you today. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully we can find a place sooner than that for you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
If we find somewhere between now and 2 weeks.
Yeah, then talk to Ms. Hamrick, and she could schedule an attorney requested detention hearing outside of his regularly scheduled.
Okay, because we are working on places.
Saw that. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
No, there comes a parent. Is he wearing tap shoes? That was loud.
Sorry, I didn't understand where you're going.
Hi, Dalen. I am Judge Terry. This is your detention hearing. You have a right to have this hearing within 2 business days of being brought in, and the purpose is to determine whether I should release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you detained. You have a right to remain silent.
You're not.
Right,
Thank you for the 2 bones.
Attorney who's been
Hallelujah.
appointed to you at this time is Melissa Hamrick.
Paying the bills.
She's here on Zoom with us. Who's Donna? Oh, there she goes. She's gone. All right. Let's see what brings you in, Dalen. You're 16 years old. You're on probation for possession of marijuana.
No.
You previously completed a term of probation for evading arrest detention and had burglary of habitations that were deferred previously. And this says that Judge Summers signed a warrant
That
for
mom looks
aggravated assault with a
pissed.
deadly weapon for you. Tested positive for marijuana February, March, and earlier in April, and then refused yesterday,
Look at
saying,
mom's
I'm not
face.
doing no UA. Cool. So I assume you're positive for marijuana again, and probably everything else. So that's the assumption this court makes. I know you know the rules here. All right, so let's see. You've
He
been
refused a urine analysis. So yeah.
actively participating in treatment for marijuana, currently attending. Administrative hearing was conducted 2 weeks ago due to your behavior at home and curfew violations. You and the family were recommended to family functional therapy, and you did begin that at least last week sometime, and you completed your community service hours.
I don't know.
You're being described as respectful and cooperative and available for visits, but here we are. Let's see what brought you here. It says on the 8th of this month, Fort Worth PD were dispatched to a shooting call on Gettysburg Lane. Officers met with the victim who advised that while he was driving his vehicle, he was shot at several times while he was stopped at a stop sign at Risinger and Charleston Road by several males inside of a black Mercury. Officers observed damage to the victim's vehicle consistent with a bullet hole.
Pew pew.
They then located the suspect
good.
vehicle nearby at Prospect Hill Drive. Officer spoke with the victim, who stated he'd left his residence to go get food while he was driving on Risinger near Charleston Road. A black Mercury pulled beside him, and the back driver's side passenger, the suspect, began firing shots at him, striking his vehicle. Victim then sped away from the suspect vehicle. He did not know or recognize the driver or the front passenger, but did recognize the suspect. Victim stated the suspect previously was in a fight with the victim's brother at North Crowley High School in January. And then it says on April 7th, an investigation was able to identify the suspect.
It's not like weed is
And
the
then
least of his problems right now.
20th, officer met with the victim. Victim was shown a map of the offense location and stated he was traveling southbound Charleston Road, turning eastbound on West Risinger when he observed the suspect vehicle stop at the sign facing northbound.
I think all those pew pews might be his issue.
Victim continued eastbound when the black Mercury pulled up next to him on the passenger side of his vehicle, and the suspect began shooting at him. The victim was shown a photo lineup and selected the suspect, positively identifying him as you, the person who shot at him on the 9th of April.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
All right. So that warrant was signed on the 21st of April. Here we are.
And he was shooting at someone. Pew pewing, excuse me.
Ms. DeBoos, how was he brought in?
He was taken into custody from school.
From
Yes.
school? Good news is he was at school, so, okay.
Pew-pew's
Well,
bad
Galen, I'm
in
gonna find
the
that probable cause exists to believe that an offense was committed and that you maybe the one involved. Mom, do you have any idea where he would have gotten a firearm from? This is much bigger than anything he's been involved with before.
I have no idea. We don't have any in the home, so I have no idea.
Okay, and, well, that was a Friday night, so I could see why he would maybe be out at his age. Did you know who he was with that night? You know these guys?
Yeah, thankfully.
Did he have permission to be gone from your home?
I'm not sure because I work at night. So I'm not sure. We do, I mean, he has been allowed to leave, but you know, he's supposed to be home by his curfew, which that has been a problem also.
What is his curfew, Mom?
11.
11? On
And
school
you're
night?
the only adult in the home?
No, my husband is there.
Okay.
11 on a school
You know if
night.
he asked your husband for permission to go out?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We don't talk that often. Me and him aren't getting along right now.
Well, Dalen, I don't know why you keep trying to do this, but it does appear that you may have been involved in this offense. And you've done it now. This is a gun offense, and I'm sure you know that this court does not take gun offenses lightly. So I'm going to order that you be detained, and I encourage you to get to level 1 outstanding. Not sure how long it's going to take for us to trust you and your behavior out in the community, but the fact that you've been cooperating with probation, doing the other things you're supposed to do, and you go to school, you're appearing to be following the rules, but then you get wrapped up in something like this. And it appears that you may have been the shooter. So like all that stuff you just did, to me, you're gonna have to figure out what else to do to dig out at this point. Does that make sense? This was a complete.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask you something?
You can ask a question, but I don't want you talking about the offense because if you see Melissa
course.
Hogan there, she's an assistant
Okay.
district attorney
Friday
and she's
night.
taking
Still.
notes. So anything you say,
I just want.
give her a reason to find some other stuff to charge you with or may make things worse for you. So if you have a question,
When
I'm
did-
happy to answer it.
When did you say this occurred?
I didn't say it occurred. This warrant that Judge Summer signed that was sworn to by an officer
So he's saying he
says
didn't
that
do
this
it. Wasn't me.
occurred on the 8th of April. So this is, and we're not here to talk about whether or not you did it. This is just probable cause hearing, okay? Probable cause to determine whether or not an offense has been committed and whether or not you may have been involved, all right? And so,
Teenagers
and
don't
there are
need to be
certain
out past
factors I have to
11, no
consider
matter what.
when I consider detaining you. It's the nature of the offense,
Get in
whether or not you're
trouble.
likely to return to court, whether or not you have suitable supervision at home, whether you're a danger to yourself, whether you have prior delinquencies, and you do have prior delinquencies, and you're a danger to yourself. You're also a danger to the community at this point. So I am going to order that you be detained, get to level 1 outstanding and stay there. See what happens the next time, okay? We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Avita
All right.
Zane.
Well, that concludes today's detention docket. Everyone enjoy your afternoon.
That's it. Wow. She billing on us quick.
Thank you.
That was fast. Back over here.
He is diversion eligible.
Okay. So you can pick up the paperwork there. I don't know if you heard that in the last case.
Yeah, I
If
did.
you go down to the Greenwood County Attorney's Office, they have some paperwork that you may want to take with you and consider.
Okay.
And I trust that you've already been booked and processed on this.
Yes, I have.
What kind of bond do you have, Mr. Parker?
A strong.
You mean like the amount of it?
Yeah.
I think it was like 2,500, like 250.
Okay. Who's the bondsman here, Ms. Gillette?
Sarah recheck.
Okay. I'm going to maintain you, Mr. Parker, under that current bond, pending further proceedings in light of your appearance today. Just make sure you appear for all future court dates, starting with May 17 at 3:30. Okay.
Okay.
Any other business we need to take up regarding Devontae Parker, Ms. Gillette?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, Mr. Parker?
No, sir.
Then for now, your matter is concluded. And we'll move on to the next case.
Next.
Okay. Next case, the state of Kansas versus Cali and Folsom. It's case number 2020 CR.
Get your bets in. What did Kellyanne do?
Jill Gillette appears for the state. Now, is Cali Folsom the individual that's on screen from the Greenwood County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Folsom, have you received a copy of your charge?
Yes.
That complaint alleges in count 1 a charge of burglary, a level 7 person felony. Since that is a felony, you will not be asked to plead at this time. Rather, a preliminary hearing
Wrong.
scheduling will be made.
Wrong.
Missy, if
Wrong.
you'll suggest a time for a preliminary hearing docket appearance.
May 20th at 1:30.
May 20, 1:30 p.m. is your next court date, Ms. Folsom. You must fully participate in that docket by Zoom at that time. May 20th, 1:30 p.m. Judge
Breaking
Webster's
and
court.
entering. B&E, baby. Nice try, though.
Do you have the financial resources, Ms. Folsom, to hire your own lawyer?
I work, but it's, no, I don't.
Okay, where do you work and how much you make?
Res care, if I can still hold a job when I get out of here, yeah, I work for res care.
Okay, and how much money do you make doing that?
$10.25 an hour.
Ooh.
All right. You're at least partially indigent, I think, for purposes of legal representation, and the court will appoint a lawyer to represent you. Missy, who would be the appropriate lawyer to appoint here?
I won't know until I contact them to make sure they don't have any conflicts.
All right, I'm going to approve her for a court-appointed lawyer. A lawyer will be appointed and hopefully get with you, Ms. Folsom.
And if she bonds out, she can call back the first of next week, or I'm sorry, the end of this week, and I can tell her who her attorney will be.
Okay, that's what I suggest you do, Ms. Folsom. Did you hear that?
I'm sorry, no, I didn't.
Okay, you can, if you bond out, you can call the court later in the week or early next week, and they can let you know who your lawyer is.
Okay.
All right. Now, where is bond set in this case, Ms. Gillette, or where should it be set?
It is currently 7,500 cash or surety bond. No contact with the individuals living at 106 West Water Street.
Surprised nobody say anything about Jill's giant areola nipple up here on the wall.
Is there
Not
any
one
bond
comment.
factor the court needs to be aware of here that would be an aggravating factor?
She went in and burglarized the house. That was a relative.
No, not a relative. It's the worst
right.
ones.
Allegedly at this point.
Allegedly.
She hasn't been convicted of anything.
No.
Ms. Folsom, where do you live, or where would you live if you did get out?
Independence, Kansas. I have a house out in Independence, Kansas.
Okay. And you have a place there to return to, correct?
Yeah.
How can she afford a place to live on 1025?
Okay. What's the address there?
4616 North 4100 Street.
Okay.
It's about a mile out in the country.
Okay. Is your work also in that county?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to lower bond in this case to $2,500. Cash or surety required, though. You'd have no contact with the victim or the victim's property that was involved in this case.
Okay.
In Greenwood County. Furthermore, Ms. Folsom, if you work in another county and live in another county outside this district, I don't see why you would have legitimate business in Greenwood except for court.
Right.
So as a bond restriction, you're not to enter into Greenwood County unless it's for court purposes.
Kicked her out of the county.
That way, no one has to worry about seeing you, running into you, or worried about you doing something else in Greenwood County while this case is pending.
Understood.
Okay. Go around Greenwood County if you go anywhere else.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Gillette, anything further we need to pursue on Ms. Folsom?
There's no telephone contact with the victim, Peggy Folsom. It's her grandmother.
Ah,
Very
she
well.
broke in
We'll
grandma's
adopt that
house.
Suggestion as another bond condition. You understand that, Ms. Folsom?
Yes, sir.
All right. You have any questions, Ms. Folsom?
So my bond's lowered to 2,500. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that's all.
Yes, it is cash or professional surety required.
Okay. And then court is on what date?
I think I assigned you May 20th at 1:30.
Okay.
Okay. Make sure you get that written down on all your scheduling calendars.
Okay.
Can't miss it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. There's nothing further. The
You
Folsom
nailed it.
matter will be in recess. We'll move on to the next case.
You nailed it.
Hey, Judge, Mr. Reynolds is also in the jail. It'll be a couple minutes before I can get him.
That's fine. Then I'll go back and pick up the other case that I skipped over.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Trevor Hahn.
No
Yes.
birthday card, no money.
Well, I'm glad you've joined us by both video and audio means at this point, Mr. Hahn.
Sorry for the delay earlier.
All right, you've got a charge pending in this court. It's hard for the court to read the complaint. It's not written in the best penmanship, but it looks like agricultural burning is the
That is
charge.
correct.
A misdemeanor offense. Generally, unclassified misdemeanors are punishable by up to a $500 fine and up to 30 days in jail. How do you plead to this charge?
I will plead guilty.
So did he?
All right. To plead guilty at this stage, you have to be
Arson?
willing to waive legal counsel. Are you sure you want to waive the assistance and advice of an attorney before you take conviction for this?
Maybe not. Maybe I should plead not guilty then if I need legal advice.
Make
I
your mind.
always suggest to people that it's probably in their best interest to do so, but you would have to enter a formal waiver for me to be able to accept your plea. Just want to make sure you understand that if you plead guilty
Damn it,
today, you'd
Nightbot.
likely be sentenced today.
Okay.
So do you want to talk to a lawyer first?
I think I'd rather just plead guilty.
I think he started a
so I
fire
can-
here. Look at all the smoke.
I think I'd rather just plead guilty to get the punishment over with, I guess.
All right. And do you waive the assistance and advice of legal counsel and wish to proceed on your own?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now, according to the charging document, this took place on March 20 of 2022. Is that when it happened?
Yes.
Is it supposedly happened somewhere in Greenwood County? Where was it?
It was north of Fall River, Kansas.
Okay, and north of Fall River is in Greenwood County, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. What was the act of agricultural burning that you did that led to this complaint?
I was setting a small pasture on fire that we turned cattle out, and we were going to turn cattle out the next week. And I guess there was a red flag warning that day, and I didn't realize there was a red flag warning. And the pasture was kind of already halfway burnt. And there was a south wind, and on the north side of the pasture was a green fescue field that we own also. And so it was probably 50 acres that we were just burning that day. And we had enough help there to protect the fire and everything. So it was just basically us just burning a small patch, and it wasn't getting away or anything. We had it under control, but I guess the sheriff saw a hot spot and came over and they put the fire out. But like I said, we had the fire under control and it wasn't going anywhere. But I just realized now that I'm supposed to call it in and not burn on a red flag day.
All right. So do you now freely, knowingly, and voluntarily enter a plea of guilty and accept conviction without the advice and assistance of legal counsel to agricultural burning?
Yes.
Very well. Court will accept the guilty plea. Defendant has waived counsel on the record. It's a free and voluntary act on his part. There is the factual basis, and the court has made him aware of the possible penalties. So I will turn to the sentencing phase of the case. Ms. Gillette, what do you recommend regarding a sentence here?
Judge, this is an unclassified, and I am not asking for any underlying jail time. I'm just asking for the court cost and a fine. If the court would rather, instead of a fine, add the restitution to the rural fire department that responded, then the money would reimburse them for responding.
What would the restitution be?
Generally, it's a $500 fine, but I usually just ask for the $500 to be sent to the fire department as restitution so that it gets paid to them for putting out the fire, for sending all of the personnel out to get on the trucks.
Mr. Hahn, you've heard the prosecutor's recommendation. Do you have any statements that you wish to make in mitigation of punishment or anything further that you would present to the court?
The only thing that I would say is that we did not need the fire department that day. And I understand that I'm supposed to call it in, and we have burned here in the past and I've called it in every time. And that the only other thing is I did show up at court last week and it cost me $250 not to be able to go to work at the cell barn. And so I've already kind of paid. And when I did go to court, I was not called or anything to let me know that my court case wasn't ready. So that was my only other issue that I had that cost money already for myself.
Yeah. Expensive little mistake, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. The court has considered the prosecutor's recommendation. I understand the basis for her recommendation. The court is going to establish a fine in this case of $150. Court will be assessing misdemeanor court costs to the defendant. And Jill, I don't know if you have a handle on what that amount is.
Misdemeanor court cost is $158.
All right.
$150 fine would be $308.
Okay.
This kid.
Court's going to decline to order restitution or reparations to the rural fire department under the circumstances of this case and in light of the penalties otherwise imposed. So $150 fine, $158 in court costs for a total of $308. Mr. Hahn. Now we need to establish how you're going to pay this. So do you need time or can you take care of this relatively soon?
I can take care of it relatively soon.
All right. If I were to give direction that it was to be paid within 7 days, can you do that?
If the check would reach the courthouse in 7 days. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna make it 14 to be on the safe side, but get it done as soon as you can, Trevor, okay?
Will do.
All right, 14 days for the payment to arrive. If you have any questions about how to pay it or who to make it to, contact the clerk of the district court of Greenwood County, Kansas, and they'll give you the direction you need. Okay, Mr. Hahn?
Okay.
Ms. Gillette, anything further on his case?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Hahn, I can go ahead and release you from the meeting at this time. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
I mean, the kid's not no hardened criminal like this dude over here with the beautiful hair.
But this is Mr. Reynolds. What's your first name?
What?
Who what?
David.
Say it again without.
David.
David. He wasn't on the list, so I'm gonna have to run and grab his file real quick.
Not on the list. David. Maybe David and the judge can have a little small talk. Just a little small talk. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I will be back at 4:05. We got to chase.
Sorry, Judge. He wasn't on the list.
To the mic. You can just talk from there.
All right, this is in the District Court of Greenwood County, Kansas, State of Kansas versus David Reynolds. It's case number 2021 CR 143. Jill Gillette appearing for the state, Mr. Reynolds appearing from the jail's remote access location by Zoom. This is a warrant to show cause matter filed by Mr. Ketley, an ISO with Community
That's what we
Corrections,
did.
alleging that the defendant failed to report to meet with his ISO for his intake. That was back in March.
Don't
and his
put your
whereabouts at
face
that
near the
time were
microphone.
unknown.
Oh, I tried to contact my correction officer and my lawyer because I had
Good Lord, David. They told you not to turn your face towards the camera. For goodness sakes. All right. Anyways, make sure you join us for We Got a Chase. It's not 2 for Tuesday. No, sir. This will be our first What the Truck Tuesday. That's right. What the Truck. All the chases will be trucks. What the truck? What the truck? So make sure you're ready for What the Truck Tuesday. We'll be jumping on that. Hopefully everybody will be there and have a good time. What the truck? So yeah, look forward to it. I hope everybody will join us then for What the Truck.
He was drunk as a skunk.
Oh, well, maybe I don't know anything about that, but Jill seems like a very nice lady. I bet she cooks a mean meatloaf. Mom, the meatloaf. Until next time, guys, please like this video if you haven't already done so. If you're watching in the future, think about subscribing to one of our channels or following us on Facebook. Until next time, please remember. What the truck? Hi, Donna. Tell Bob I said hello. What the truck? I know. Wasn't that bad? That was so loud. Oh, that dude killing me.